It's finally happening. Deadpool is coming to the MCU. And what better way to commemorate his entrance than a pegging joke? Today, we break down the Deadpool 3 trailer scene by scene. So, without further ado, let's break down the complete trailer and see what treasures we can find.
Birthday to you.
Right off the bat, we see several characters from the first 2 Deadpool films, but only 2 of them are interesting to us. The first being Vanessa, who is brought back from the dead at the end of Deadpool 2, and the second being Shatterstar, played by Mortal Kombat's Lewis Tan. This is very important because it tells us one thing. Deadpool has been playing with Cable's time-traveling device a little too much. In the comics, Vanessa is a shape-shifting mutant by the name of Copycat, and has quite the complicated relationship with Wade Wilson. Whether or not her mutant background will finally be touched upon in Deadpool 3 is still a mystery. And Shatterstar is also an important part of Deadpool's comic book history, as he plays a crucial role in the formation of X-Force. And perhaps he'll actually have a role this time that lasts longer than 10 seconds.
You idiot! Wade Wilson? Who's asking?
And here we get our first glimpse of the vehicle that will lead Deadpool to the MCU. With Deadpool screwing around with time trying to save everyone he could, it likely pissed off the TVA. I mean, if Loki got arrested for his crimes, then there's no question that Deadpool will be targeted too. And it is my guess that Cable will likely be hunted by the TVA as well. He's not in this trailer, and he's probably not in this movie. But I guarantee he will definitely be back in a future film, because he's extremely proficient at traveling through time, and his device was fixed at the end of Deadpool 2. It is likely he's the one person that can stay a step ahead of the TVA.
Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
And yes, Deadpool's rated R humor has come to the MCU. But even so, I do feel like it will be toned down, at least in comparison to the first 2 movies. There will likely be a fair amount of raunchy humor here, but I think Disney will tread carefully. But to be honest, those types of jokes will likely hit much better if they're not constantly shoved down your throat, pun intended. As Deadpool is introduced to a brand new character in Mr. Paradox, we get a nice little scene of Deadpool being replayed the greatest hits of the MCU, including a funny scene of him saluting Captain America while scenes of Winter Soldier play on the TVs. My guess here is that he's actually saluting the fact that Captain America Winter Soldier is still the best MCU movie released to this day. And I wouldn't be surprised if he actually makes a claim just like that during this film. This image has caught a lot of attention. Is it Professor Xavier or someone else? I feel like it'll be a character you're not likely expecting. Perhaps someone like Cassandra Nova, who's essentially Charles Xavier's evil twin sister. In actuality, it's a lot more complicated than this. She was conceived without a body inside of Charles Xavier's mother, and then she used Charles' DNA to craft her own body. And it just might be stupid enough to warrant about 100 Deadpool jokes during a fight.
Is about to change forever.
So, on first glance, this looks like Wolverine by his hairstyle. And it is. But more specifically, it's actually an alias that Wolverine uses, known as Patch. He goes by Patch whenever he's in the gambling hellhole that is Madripoor, and is always seen with a white suit and an eye patch over his eye. I think there are 2 options here. Either this is the very start of the film where the TVA actually sets Deadpool out to recruit Wolverine for a mission, or it's the very end of the film and Deadpool is trying to find a Wolverine variant in the MCU universe. And because we've been introduced to Madripoor within the MCU, it is possible that this is the Wolverine that we'll become familiar with in the future. Well, that's if Wolverine continues onwards after this film. I still feel like it will be his last film officially, but who knows? And if you pause right on this scene, it looks like Deadpool is suiting up within the casino, as there seems to be piles of chips in the background, likely before trying to track down Patch in the last scene. This possibly shows that Deadpool is here specifically for Patch, and it's not a coincidence that they're both at the casino. Now, this scene caught my eye for one reason. It looks awfully similar to the beginning of Avengers: Age of Ultron. I like the idea that Deadpool escapes the TVA by jumping around throughout the MCU. It would be a comical way to have him interact with set pieces and locations that we've seen in other MCU movies. And just maybe, the beginning of the Age of Ultron will be one of those locations. And I'm sure most of you might recognize this giant statue behind Deadpool. It's a statue of 20th Century Fox in all its glory, which is clearly a joke behind the fall of Fox, and a good enough reason why a lot of these characters from the Fox X-Men movies will appear in Deadpool 3. But that's not the only thing that we see in the background, as a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier and a Chitauri Leviathan are found right here. This shows that multiple universes are clearly littering in this desert. And for those of you that have seen the Loki TV show, there's another nice reference here for you. The TVA guard is being snatched up by none other than Alioth. You'll remember Alioth as the entity that was created by He Who Remains, with the power to truly erase anything from existence. Once Alioth kills you, there is no coming back. You are simply erased for good. And because a lot of these scenes take place in a deserted location, it's possible that a portion of the film takes place in the void. But they're not going to spoil a lot of the movie this far out. So I do have a feeling that the void will be a very small part of the film. They'll keep that a secret for now. And for the love of God, this is not Doctor Doom. There are way too many websites suggesting that this is a Doom variant. Doctor Doom is quite literally the most important villain to ever come out of Marvel Comics. If you think Doom's first appearance would be lazily thrown into a teaser trailer, you should instantly have your Marvel fan card removed.
God, I love this part.
For our first surprise cameo, it's none other than Aaron Stanford's Pyro, who you should remember all the way back from 2003 when he first appeared in X2. And from the comics, Pyro was a consistent member of Magneto's Brotherhood of Mutants and filled the villainous role for most of his comics history. And I have a feeling Pyro is the first of many Fox mutants that'll peek their heads out during this film. And let's be real, if Aaron Stanford's Pyro is in this film, then maybe we'll get Ian McKellen's Magneto as his leader. One can hope. And lastly, one of the biggest clues on our journey, and it's right there beside Deadpool. Secret Wars number 5, an extremely important comic book during one of the most important Marvel events of all time. Secret Wars was a 2015 event that saw the complete destruction of the entire Marvel multiverse. Every single universe was destroyed, one after the other. This was due to incursions that caused Earths to slam into one another, destroying both universes in the process. Once all the universes were destroyed, only one thing remained: a single planet called Battleworld. This planet was comprised of the fragments of worlds that no longer existed, the last living world where there used to be trillions. Sort of like the Void from the Loki TV show. Most importantly, there was one person who was in charge of this planet: Doctor Doom. So is this the proof we need that Doctor Doom will be present? In my opinion, no. I think it's more likely that Ian McKellen's Magneto will be the big villain of this film, and it will be a fantastic send-off for the 80-year-old actor. He first appeared in the iconic role more than 20 years ago, and it's only fitting that he goes out with the Fox universe. The reason Wolverine could be with Deadpool is because he's fought Magneto before, and he's the last chance at taking him out for good. Well, I hope you enjoyed my breakdown of the Deadpool 3 trailer. Is there anything I missed? Let me know in the comment section below. And once you watch the film, make sure you come back and let me know every single detail I got wrong. I'm sure some of you will. Till next time, I'm Nashology, and this is A Marvelous Life.